Yeah, it's not always easy to find your way back home, and I can definitely tell a story about that. But we all have a story to tell. And the story of history, which has been handed down to us from previous generations, what we learn in school, the story of mankind ever since we were thrown out of paradise, which actually is symbolic for the beginning of human history, also our own history. As we came into this world, we were born into this world, and we had to make our way. We have to find our way. We are thrown out of paradise, and then our history is basically the quest to find the promised land, to find a place where we are happy, where we are free, where there's peace, where there's joy. So we are looking for this place, we are going on this journey, and I think it's also very interesting to me as myself, I'm here in Germany now, again, welcome home, but I've lived in America for a long time. I lived in Kansas, and you might know the story from The Wizard of Oz, with the three characters, where the lion who was lacking courage, the Tin Man who was lacking a brain, and the Straw Man or the Scarecrow was lacking a heart, or he thought he was lacking a heart. And so they were going to see the Wizard of Oz in their hope that he could give them those things which they thought they were lacking. And just like that with Dorothy, the main character from The Wizard of Oz, which interestingly enough is also my mom's name, Dorothy. Dorothy, she lost her home, and in this tornado, she found herself in this new land, and she didn't know how to get home. So also she was looking for the wizard and hoping the wizard can help her way to find back home. But the significance of the story is, and I think it's so beautiful, the journey leads home. There's no place like home, and home is where the heart is. That is where the journey leads. So it doesn't matter where you are in this world. I'm also working with a lot of people in Africa, refugees who lost their home in Liberia. Wherever you are living, home is where the heart is. That's where the journey leads, within yourself. And of course, it's very, very difficult to tell that to people in Africa who are living under extreme difficult situations with extreme poverty, to remind them of that. But it really begins with us here in Germany or in the United States or wherever you're living, to realize, the journey home leads to yourself, and that means to yourself, to be yourself, free yourself to be yourself. Nobody can do that for you. It's actually really kinding if you think about that, which also means it's simple, even though it's one of the most difficult things to be who you are in a world that always requires you to be somebody else, to act according to different roles, be it at home, at work, as a co-worker, or a boss, or in the society, you are a voter, or Republican, or Democrat, or whatever here in Germany your political conviction is, or with your religion, what your religion requires you, what role to play, and all these different roles. But who you really are, that's the point, and that's the truth, to find that truth. And that's where the journey leads home. That actually life is easy, life is beautiful, life is wonderful, love is simple. You can love everyone. You can be free, you can be happy. In German there is this beautiful song, Froh zu sein bedarf es wenig, doch wer froh ist ein König. It doesn't take much to be happy, but if you're happy, you're king. But then, sometimes we get caught up with the past. We can get stuck in the story. We can get stuck in our own thoughts, in our own desires, in our own expectations of other people, and what we want and what we need from others, that we really miss out on that simple realization that it's really kind thing. It's really not a thing. It's nothing. It's nothing to love. It's nothing to be free. It's nothing to be happy. It's nothing really to be at peace. But in order to gain that realization, which actually we had as children, we were that way as children. Before we were thrown out of paradise, we became part of this world, part of the story which repeats itself, where we all struggle for what we think we need in order to be happy, or in order to be free, or in order to be peaceful, or in order to be loved, to feel love. As children it was easy, we needed nothing for that. Then we learned that there are conditions. We learned that in order to be accepted by others, we need to be a certain way. So we began to submit ourselves to the powers outside of us. We learned to submit ourselves to authority. But then it's really about the rebirth, which is a matter of letting go of all of that struggle, of all of that resentment that we carry within. And again, I speak from personal experience, because I also still have a lot of work to do to let go of these things, to really free myself, to be myself. And I think I really feel, and I hope also you feel the same way, that this video was a small step, some small effort in that direction. And maybe also I encourage you to take some steps in that direction as well, to free yourself, to be yourself, to begin to celebrate life, to love life, every moment of your life, to be yourself. It's really not a thing if you think about that. Thanks for watching, and keep it real.